Okay. Hello. We are here. We are live. We are working stuff out. I don't know about you, but I am tired. I'm recovering from this weekend. I had a probably more busy weekend than a lot of people. I hosted a full day event for songwriters here on Maui, and it was awesome. It was so good. We had a songwriter circle in the afternoon where we did shared a song and we co-wrote. And then in the evening, we had a songwriter in the round concert, which if you don't know what that is, you have 3 or 4 songwriters. They each play a song and talk about how the song was written, and then you alternate down the line and then go around again, and you get to learn about all these songs and how they were created. And yeah, it was a magical evening, mostly because I had 4 of my favorite songwriters on the island here. Probably 4 of my favorite songwriters ever. Actually, they're on the list. So that was a great time, and I get my first producer credit, so I'm officially a producer, an event producer now, which is exciting. So yeah, there's a lot happening in the world right now. Graduation weekend for a lot of people. There's all kinds of events happening for schools and kids and summer camp signups, and you got to get everybody end of the year presents, and you got to make sure everybody is happy and healthy and staying out of harm's way, and along with all the other normal everyday stuff. So question is, how do you find time to sing in the middle of all that? And when you do sing, even if you don't have very much time, how do you make it worthwhile? How do you make it efficient so that you don't feel like you're just, hobbling along singing 5 minutes here and there and not getting a whole lot done? One of my favorite ways to talk about this is the 5-5-5 practice method. And this is something that I came up with. I'm sure I'm not the first one to come up with it though, but it's really how it works for me, because I'm very busy. I say yes to too many things. And so I have trouble finding times where I feel like I have the space to give to singing fully. And also, I don't know about you guys, but like my brain does not have the capacity to focus for very long nowadays. Like, I don't know if it's TikTok culture or what it is, but like more than 10-15 minutes of doing something, I have to switch it up. I have to get up. I have to eat something. I have to think about all the other things I have to do. It's a struggle, and I'm working on it. However, we can use this to our advantage, right? We don't have to always be in opposition to ourselves saying, why didn't you practice today for an hour? You're the worst. You're terrible. You're never going to be the singer you want to be. That's not helpful, right? We have to give ourselves some slack. So I kind of like this idea of, where can I sing, even if it's just for 5 minutes? How can I make this the easiest for me possible, but still give myself the space that my singing voice needs? Because sometimes when we're singing in the car or in the shower or doing dishes or something, that's great. And yes, use that, sing wherever you can, but sometimes our brain is not fully in it, right? We're not fully present. And so if you hit a note that you didn't like, you're just like, well, that didn't work. And then we're not in a problem solving mode. We're not in scientific mode instead. And so I like this 5-5-5 practice challenge, because you can, after you do the dishes, if you have 5 minutes before your next thing, do a warm up, spend 5 minutes just sitting where you are, standing where you are, be present with yourself, do a warm up. And honestly, I'm sure I'm not the only one to say this either, but I think 5 minutes of focused, present warming up and practicing being in your body, being aware of what's happening in your muscles, knowing when the tension comes in, knowing when the gremlin voice is here instead of your nice, compassionate voice, that's more valuable than spending an hour while you're doing dishes or something else when you're not present and singing, because you could hurt yourself. Honestly, like if you are spending loads of time singing not presently, you're just belting stuff out without proper preparation, and the tension that is the default, that is the habit, just comes in automatically and can really, you can oversing, you can over tense, you can over effort really easily when you're doing that and you're not in it, So highly recommend finding 5 minutes here and there. So the 5-5-5 method is basically 5 minutes of practice. Sorry, warm up. 5 minutes of warm up. If you're working on a song, a specific skill, make your warm up focus to that skill. So if you're working on your high register, don't worry about your low register when you're warming up. Just, go through maybe your whole range, maybe do a couple sirens. Ooh, just to get your whole range in there. But then do your warm-ups outside of your low range, right? So maybe you start in the middle and go, do some arpeggios like and your focus is opening up on that top range. And finding your forward placement and your resonance here in your top register. So don't make yourself do everything all at once is really the point of this, right? So your 5-minute warm-up could be dedicated to one specific skill that you're working on, one specific skill that has shown up in a song that you're working on. And then if that's all the time you have, great. Chill. Go do whatever else you have to do. Next time you have 5 minutes, if you show up somewhere early, sit in your car. Do another 5 minutes, right? Even if this is an hour later, it's okay. You're still focused and present and thinking about singing in a different way than you would be if you were doing 8 other things at the same time. So the next 5 minutes, first 5 minutes is warm up, focused warm up, not everything, focused warm up, because chances are if you talk at all during the day, that's already giving you part of a warm up as well. Second 5 minutes is practice. So like whatever part of the song that you are struggling with, take that and isolate it. So you don't need to spend the whole 5 minutes doing a 5-minute song if there's parts of it that you feel fine about, right? That's just a waste of time because every time you sing it, it'll be fine. So what we want to do is find the struggle parts, take them out, cut them down into the little teeny pieces. So even if you're struggling with this bridge of a song, don't do the whole bridge over and over again if you're still struggling, right? Find the couple notes that you're struggling between the intervals, right? If it's a big octave jump, for example, and you feel like you can't make it all the way down to where you need to be, or you can't make it all the way up there without straining, without closing off this pharynx space, work those 2 notes, slow them down, be very intentional about what you spend those 5 minutes doing. So for example, if you're singing between these 2 octaves, let it be something that you are thinking, okay, why am I straining between those 2 notes? Why am I straining on this high note? In any other context, it would be fine. Is it just because it's a big interval? And what's coming in here that's stopping me from making that octave jump with the amount of ease and freedom that I know that I can and want to? A lot of times it's fear. So many times it's fear. And this is the basis of what I teach most of the time. Like, this is why I ask you deep questions, why we talk about the gremlin and mindset and the nervous system. Is your nervous system being attacked so far? Like, as you're going to hit this high note, if it's a big interval, that's a big, scary, vulnerable thing. It feels like you're about to jump off a cliff and you don't know what's underneath you sometimes, right? So notice when your nervous system is being affected and remind your body through your body. Right? You can say, I'm safe, and it might not work. So we go into the body and we say, body, I'm safe. I'm going to slow these 2 notes down. I'm going to do them individually to show you that it is safe to hit these notes separately. And then we're going to speed it up just a little bit, and then we keep going. So that's your 5 minutes in the middle of specific practice of one skill, of one part of the struggle part that you're working on in whatever song you're working on. This is why it's always good to have a song that you're working on instead of just popping in and out of every song that you like ever, because it really helps to get below the layers. If you spend 4, 5, 10 weeks on a song, you'll discover layers that you didn't even know were there. So highly recommend that. It's a side note. Great. If you have to go into wherever you are, cool. You're done with that 5 minutes. After your appointment, if you have 5 minutes, instead of trying to get 800 errands done, take 5 minutes, chill your nervous system, sing a little bit. The last 5 minutes is the most fun. So the last 5 minutes, first 5 is warm up, Second 5 is skill practice or isolate a struggle part of your song. And third 5 minutes is play, just straight up playtime, right? So if this is all the moments you have in a day, at least you're reminding yourself that singing is fun and not a struggle. You hear me? This is the most important 5 minutes, and it's also the most fun, because once you worked on that part, then you have done some focused work, you've done some detail work, you've gotten under the layers, and now we can zoom out, right? So for that last 5 minutes, you can be like, okay, I loved singing this song. I'm going to come back to why I love singing this song, because it's fun for me and I love it. And now I'm just going to spend the next 5 minutes having fun with it, right? I'm going to belt it out in the car like nobody can hear me, right? I'm going to play a character. I'm going to be a cartoon and sing it. I'm going to pretend like I'm Ariana Grande or Celine Dion, and I'm going to do my hand movements and just have fun with it. Because if we're always in serious singer mode, it's how we train ourselves to look at singing is always from serious, I got to get it right all the time. And that's not a healthy, sustainable way to look at singing all the time. And that's honestly 95% of the people that come to me are stuck in that serious singer mode all the time. They're like, well, if I can't get it right every time I do it, then I might as well just give up, right? It's all about getting it right, getting it right, getting it right. And if we don't allow ourselves to fail ever, then of course you're going to be frustrated when you're singing, right? That's not how singing was meant to be, though. That's the issue. Like if you were teaching a kid how to sing, you would not reprimand them every time they sing a quote unquote wrong note, right? So why do we make ourselves do the same thing? We're learning, even if you're a professional singer, for God's sakes, like you're still learning a song, you're learning a skill, you're doing different things than you have always done, which is why it's not the easiest song in the world for you, right? So it takes so much of the pressure off when we can just be in play mode for that last 5 minutes. So sing the song you were just working on, but let it be a fun version. Let it be a cartoon version. Let it be something that, you would sing with a kid, right? Like this is why we're feeling this way, is because our inner child is crying out for acceptance, right? So why not bring it back to them and be like, hey, it's okay. We can sing this and have fun with it. And whatever comes out, we don't care. There's no pressure. You don't have to get it right all the time. And guess what? 99% of the time, when you let go of that fear of failure, when you let it be messy, let it be ugly, let it be easy, commit to whatever the heck is going to come out of your mouth, 99% of the time, it's right. It's better. Pitch-wise, it's more on pitch. It's more committed. The energy is there. The resistance that your voice actually needs to sing those bigger notes is there when you're not holding back in resistance all the time, right? So that's why the play mode is really fun. This is a great example of this. So one of my students who lives here on Maui came over last weekend, and she was recording one of her songs, and it's really exciting. So this is her first time she's ever been, recording anything. She didn't really want to go to a studio because it's really intimidating. So I was like, just come here into my little makeshift vocal booth. It'll be super chill. We'll make it happen. But she was recording with a click. And if you've ever tried to record with a tempo, with a metronome, if you like if you think back to like piano lessons when you were a kid playing with a metronome, it's so nerve-wracking. And so she got better over time. She's been working on it for so long, and she was doing take after take and really trying to nail it. And then I had her, just on a hunch, I had her do it again, how she would usually do it, with no click, with no metronome. And it was twice as loud. The energy was so palpable. The emotion was so palpable. And it was because she had let go of needing to be perfect, right? I let her do it without boxes. And so just that let her fully lean into the song and how it needed to be to serve the song and her emotion, why she wrote it. She was able to come back to the feeling when she actually wrote it, instead of needing to be perfect and on beat every single time. And her vocal performance showed that she was nervous, right? She wasn't able to let it out fully. But when we took that away, when we let her have fun with it and be freer, she nailed it. It was great. And sure, it may be a little hard to put drums on it later on, but who cares, right? It's about the feeling that we want to get from singing. It's why we sing, is to get a feeling across to the audience, to help them feel something, to help them understand what you're feeling. It's the human connection. And if you are so focused on getting these notes right and getting whatever thing you are so worried about that keeps happening badly or wrong, then you're not going to be able to share that emotion fully. You're going to be stuck behind these walls of, I'm not perfect enough. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really important to look at those moments for yourself and say, okay, I'm frustrated, right? If you're feeling frustrated, take a step back, right? First of all, go drink some water, go have a snack, right? Take the pressure off. When you come back to it, let yourself have 5 minutes of play with that song, right? It can be some other song too, if this song is just like really too much for you right now. Have fun with whatever song you want to for 5 minutes, and that will bring back the joy of singing. That will bring back the ability to let loose a little more. It will bring back your actual power, because I guarantee you have more power than you think you do. It's just when we take away the needing to get it perfect, that we're able to finally let out that power. Seriously, I'm talking to you from experience. Like literally 99 times out of 100, when you let loose and play and let it be quote unquote messy or ugly or wrong, you're actually more right, because you're giving your vocal mechanism more of what it needs, which is airflow, which is space, which is commitment. Yeah? So this is why the 555 is so magical, because 5 minutes of warm up, that's really all you need most of the time anyway, unless you're about to do some big Whitney Houston belty song. Most people are not. Second 5 is specific skill or phrase isolation. Just over and over again. Don't try and do the whole song. Don't try and do a whole section of a song even. Just find the parts that give you fear, right? Find the parts that you're consistently messing up on, and work them, slow them down, so that you can feel like you have the evidence to nail it next time, right? Slow them down, slowly speed them up over and over time, so you can remind yourself that it is possible, and so that it doesn't become such a big hurdle to jump over when you hit it in the song. Third 5 is play. Just play with that part of the song, with the rest of the song. Be loose, loosen it up. Just loosey-goosey, right? Another way to play is to sing the song dancing around, right? I tell people to like go do an interpretive dance in your living room to the song while you're singing it, because you're moving your knees, you're getting your abs involved, you're moving your arms, you're not so stiff about it, right? That's another magic trick that I use all the time. Like if somebody is sitting here and I can tell that they're trying to muscle their way into these notes, I'm like, okay, palate cleanser. Go get a drink of water, and when you come back, I'm going to have you walk around while you're singing it. Literally, that's all it needs to be. Just walk around your house in a little circle. You don't have to have a lot of space. Walk around. If you need a little extra oomph for a part, bend your knees. So that translates to maybe adding a lunge here and there. If you have knee injuries, don't listen to this part. But lunges and stuff really get you in your body, get the abs working, get the power coming from underneath, which is where it needs to come from, not here, because this is our steering wheel, right? This is the gas pedal. This is the steering wheel. We got to support it, not push from here, because when we push from here, we go off the road. Yeah? So, hey, thank you guys for being here. It's so nice to have you. If you're just tuning in, I'm almost done, but it's really good to notice when you are doing too much, and when you don't have time, it's really easy to just give up on practicing altogether. But the 555 is so important, and I know some of you have done the challenge with me, but if you haven't, you can come into this group that I have. It's called Your Voice is Magic. Some of you are in it right now, and you can go through the 555 practice challenge every single week if you want, because there's 7 days. So you can do day 1 on Monday, you can do day 2 on Tuesday, and you can go through it every single week, and you'll hit all the skills that you need to. And you're not doing too much. You're not burning yourself out. You're not trying to hit everything all at once. You're not trying to do full songs every single day, because that's just unsustainable for most of us, right? Because we're not professional singers yet. Yet. So we want to, even on your busiest day, I guarantee you can find 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Yeah? Even if you leave the dishes for another day. Even if you leave the vacuum for tomorrow, you know? So it's really, this is one of my favorite things to remind people of. You do have time to practice. It doesn't have to be a full hour practice, right? It doesn't even have to be a full half an hour practice. My goodness. Just little bits at a time, when you can find it, when you're sitting in your car, when you're, waiting for a stoplight, when you're in the shower, all of these moments, you can be fully present and sing and focus on the actual mechanism and what is happening and where the tension comes in and why. Because only you can answer some of these questions. I can ask you all the questions, but you need to start asking them yourself. Like, why do I have this tension? Why am I trying to muscle this sound into existence? What is my gremlin telling me in this moment, and how is it affecting my actual body? And how can I take the pressure off and play with it for a moment? Or how can I take the pressure off by being a scientist about it and isolating the part that's frustrating me and slowing it way down and giving my body evidence continually 10, 20, 30 times that you can hit those notes with ease and openness. And then we speed it back up slowly and bring it back into the song. And so you feel safer, right? We don't want to just put it right back into the song at fast tempo if you've never done it like that. It's about safety of your nervous system. And so that can be another way to take the pressure off, right? It doesn't sound like it necessarily. It's not the same kind of vibe as just playing, just going into play sandbox mode, but it really does make a difference. Being a scientist, especially if you are that kind of person, right? If you're a more left brain person, it can be very soothing to scale it down, slow it way down, and say, yes, I can do these notes together, especially if it's like big intervals or something. I can hit that note. I can hit that run. I just am not up to full speed yet, and that is okay, and I am safe, and I love myself, and I love where I am. I'm not trying to force myself into something totally different, So that's huge. All right, I'm going to go teach my final performance. Well, my cohort that is graduating tomorrow has their final performance tomorrow, and so we're going to go practice a little bit. So yes, take this, use what you need. Don't take what you don't need, but highly recommend 555. If you're curious about where to go find all those videos, let me know. It's in our lovely community of singers who probably are on the same page as you, feeling a little bit vulnerable, a little bit stuck sometimes, but this is why we're here. This is why I have this community, so you can talk about it. You can put yourself, out there and say, hey, is anybody else dealing with this? What have you done? And it's not just feedback from me. It's about the camaraderie and authenticity and accountability of other singers who are in there with you. Yeah, just like we do in Vocal Magic. If you're new here, you can go check out the thing in my bio. It's a ebook, a mini ebook called 3 Magic Tricks to Sing Better in Seconds. Totally free. You can go grab that if you want to. If you are not new here and you're curious about how to work with me, the more interest I get, the sooner I will be starting another Vocal Magic cohort. I wasn't planning that until September, but I know there's a couple people in here that are interested. So comment below, put your favorite food emoji down there, and I'll be in touch about it, because I know there's a couple people who are interested in doing that program, but haven't necessarily, like last time wasn't a good time or something. So let me know, and I'm excited to work with you more. Sorry I haven't been on here a whole lot, but I've been doing a lot of stuff out in the world, so hopefully that will change. I'll hope to put more little posts up here soon. So I'll see you very soon, and I love you, and goodbye.